When undergoing a technology implementation or digital transformation projects, organizations can encounter resistance from various stakeholders throughout the organization. In this video, I'm going to jump into the top 5 areas of resistance commonly observed in our digital transformation projects. I'm Cheathem with Third Stage Consulting Group. We are a completely independent and technology agnostic advisory firm that helps our global clients achieve the third stage of their digital transformation or technology projects. Specifically in this video, we're going to break down where the common areas of resistance exist throughout a project or an organization. And now resistance is often misunderstood or misconstrued to mean something that has a negative intention or connotation. 99.9% of the time, resistance comes from the most well-intentioned places. It's birthed from misunderstanding, miscommunication, or fear around what will roles and responsibilities look like with this new process or technology. That's why it's incredibly important to understand and be aware of where common areas of resistance stem from throughout the organization, so you can address them in your phase 0 project planning. The first area of resistance I want to talk about is cultural, and this can often be a blind spot for specifically leadership or the executive team because they don't have a clear understanding of their current state culture. Many times, employees will resist change due to that fear or uncertainty or lack of understanding around the benefits of the proposed digital transformation. Now, when we look at cultural resistance specifically, this can stem from deeply rooted culture that resists change or prefers the more traditional way of doing things. A lot of times, this can look like tribal knowledge or an employee that's very attached to a manual process or the dreaded spreadsheet. This is going to be a big issue and leads to lack of buy-in from employees or resistance from that critical middle management tier that's really going to be responsible for executing the new technology process or change within the organization. This can really hinder the progress of the new technology and just lead to a lot of misconceptions around what the actual benefits or opportunities around the new technology is. To get in front of this process, it's going to be critical to have those organizational assessments so you have qualitative and quantitative data to look at areas in the organization that might not have the perception of positive progress of this new technology. Number 2 is a big one. It's skills gap and training. Many times we want to go in and redefine what training actually means. Going from PowerPoints or videos that showcase how to utilize the new technology functionally to more of an idea in which that relationship and that positive perception is being built with the employee, really showcasing the underlying benefits of how this is going to make their job better. Many times we see this area as a perception of lack of skills or expertise required to adapt to this new technology or process. Think about it when any new technology comes into your life, whether it be a new smartphone or a new way of doing things from a social media platform. It takes time to understand, and a lot of times it can be quite frustrating if you don't know how to utilize the new technology. This is amplified when it comes to an enterprise ecosystem and new technology, because now you're talking about someone's livelihood or their value within the organization. This can be a very, very vulnerable and scary time for them if they feel as though they don't know how to leverage this new process or technology in their role. Resistance can arise when employees are feeling overwhelmed by the learning curve associated with new digital tools or systems. This is where a full-fledged learning management strategy comes into play. If you haven't seen my video on learning management within a digital transformation, you can click right here to go watch that one as well. Training should be a number 1 aspect in that phase 0 planning. Many times we see training as an afterthought, which is a huge mistake and can ultimately lead to low user adoption or resistance throughout the project. Training should be a main consideration, not only from deployment and creation of training materials, but how you're going to measure user adoption, making sure that you're maximizing the value of the technology within your organization. Number 3 I'm going to talk about today is legacy systems and processes. Resistance often arises when existing legacy systems and processes are deeply ingrained and seen as effective, making it challenging to embrace new technologies. Fear of disrupting established workflows or dependencies on outdated systems can really hinder the adoption of digital solutions. Resistance may also come from IT departments or system administrators who have invested significant times in maintaining this legacy system. So this can be a really complex process and a sensitive subject when it comes to tribal knowledge or legacy systems maintenance and even building out those customizations that took a lot of time and effort. It's critically important to include these stakeholders that have established processes, that have built systems, that have generated these manual processes within the core digital transformation conversation. Giving them that value and that ownership over saying, we know that you built this process. We appreciate that you built this process or this system, and you've done such a great job maintaining it. Help us grow, select, implement a new technology that not only makes your job easier, but is a growing point for the organization. I guarantee you, especially as leaders within an organization, if you go in with a mentality of this is changing, get on board with it, you are going to experience resistance from these key stakeholders that could be a huge value to your overall digital transformation project. Number 4 is also a significant area in organizational structure and politics. Resistance may stem from organizational structure and those internal politics that hinder collaboration and cross-functional alignment necessary for a digital transformation. Oftentimes, when we go into a business that's thinking about going through a digital transformation or is in the process of an implementation failure, the main reason for that failure is siloed departments or business units that may resist sharing data or working together around an integrated digital solution. This resistance is really birthed from fear or power shifts in changing job roles or the perception of loss of control. Alignment is really the medicine to triage a situation in which you do have silos or internal politics. And that starts with your leadership level, your executive level. If there are 2 different agendas within your C-suite of what the digital transformation is ultimately trying to achieve, then that's going to trickle down and create shifting and misalignment within your overall management teams as well. I highly recommend, if you're experiencing this, going through an executive boot camp. We often go in and start with the executive team because that's really going to be the catalyst to ensuring that you're all aligned around what the goals are of this new technology and what you want to achieve as an organization. If you do have a management tier that's really struggling with changing of roles and responsibilities, communication is going to be king when it comes to making them feel comfortable and valued throughout this process. Number 5 is misinformation and lack of communication planning. The number 1 and fundamental concept that we're talking about here is fear stems from the unknown. And really that unknown is a lack of a fully baked communication plan. I'll say it once, I've said it 1,000 times, a communication plan is not an email. It is a full-fledged strategy around how you're going to communicate the new technology, process, or whatever you're implementing throughout the organization. This needs to be intentional and have overall metrics attached to it to ensure that it's resonating within your organization. Another huge misconception is training is not communication planning. Overcoming resistance requires effective change management strategies, clear communication, employee engagement, and addressing concerns proactively. We've seen misinformation be the reason for implementation failures, meaning that a project failed because there was this rumor mill around what it was, which actually wasn't true. This is a powerful place of resistance that can really spark fear within your organization and create an area in which your project is destined to fail. I mentioned the phase 0 planning earlier, but the communication plan along with the training plan should be included and vetted in there. Really, this process starts with assessing the current state of the organization through current state assessments, surveys, overall focus groups, and understanding where your current state is and what level of communication you need to have. Maybe you have a very mature communication flow throughout your organization. Maybe communication has been a pain point for you in the past, but having that awareness when you go into a project planning phase is going to be extremely critical to your success. If you're not sure where to start when it comes to a communication plan customized for a digital transformation project, please feel free to reach out to me directly. Our communication specialists do this all the time within organizations. Overall, it's critical to create a supportive culture, provide comprehensive training and support, and emphasize the benefits and opportunity that the digital transformation or new technology can bring. I hope this video helped and you found some value in these top 5 areas of resistance, because they really can have a significant impact on the success of your overall project. If you have questions or feedback on this video or just want to brainstorm digital transformation initiatives, feel free to reach out to me directly at kyler.cheathem@thirdstage-consulting.com. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for all things digital transformation strategies and tips, and I will see you next time.